Hi folks, this is Steve Hall, a coordinator of percussion at Marshall University, along with our Marshall University Percussion Ensemble. We're going to share with you today a little bit of music that we played on our recital a week ago. The music is that of George Hamilton Green, who was born at the end of the 19th century, born in 1893, Omaha, Nebraska, into a musical family. Both his father and grandfather were musicians, composers, and conductors. And so George began studying the xylophone at the age of 11. By the time he was 13, he was being featured on solos with his father's band. So by the age of 19, he went on the road on the vaudeville circuit, which you may know a little bit about. But if you think about before the TV, before the radio, before the digital generation, you had to go see music live. So this was a way of musicians, dancers, circus acts, jugglers, anybody who had anything entertaining to travel the countryside, make a living, and share their talents. So by the age of 19, well, within a year of hitting vaudeville, he was lauded as being the world's greatest xylophonist. At the time, the xylophone was like rock guitar. So just imagine a rock xylophone star traveling the countryside, impressing people. His virtuosity, his speed, his tastefulness were unparalleled in the musical world. So George Green and his brother Joe, who also played xylophone, they had a number of bands, the All-Star Trio, the Green Brothers Xylophone Orchestra, and the Green Brothers Novelty Band. George and his brother actually played music for the earliest Disney films, the very first Mickey Mouse cartoons that you ever saw, before you started hearing the voiceovers. So after retiring, I think in 1947, George became a cartoonist and an illustrator. Passed away in 1970. Sadly, this was right before a resurgence of his music. He was a composer, a conductor, a virtuoso performer, and an educator as well. There's still a book, if you're interested in this, anybody in your band, percussionists or otherwise, that might find this music interesting and you want to find out about it. There's a book that's pretty easy to find, Instructional Course for the Xylophone. That's like $31 if you get it from Steve Weiss Music in Philadelphia, published by the Meredith Music publication. So check it out. 50 lessons for learning to play the xylophone. All right, so the piece today that we're going to do is Log Cabin Blues. Log Cabin was written in 1924, and it's going to feature Jackson Hall from Mason County on the xylophone part that George Green would have played. So as percussionists in your band are beginning to find out, we're expected to do a lot of things really, really well. Not only play snare drum, but in this situation, we have 4 people on marimba playing 2 mallets, and then the xylophone being the featured voice. So also, you'll be hearing some drums from Wes back here on a modified drum set. We modified it with a cookie sheet that my wife was going to throw away, and I knew that it was valuable to us. Hit that cookie sheet, Wes, just to show them. Lovely, what a beautiful sound. Hit it again, just for the camera. So kids, when your mom wants to throw away all those pots and pans, grab them, go hide them. Also, he's got a wood block back here, a splash cymbal, and it's going to be playing like a somewhat improvised drum set part along with this rag. So let's give it a whirl. So basically on the marimbas, we've got a bass part, which is back here, that'll be filling the role of the bass player or tuba, as you might imagine. Marimba 1 is going to be shadowing the xylophone a lot of the time, sometimes playing counter melodies. Second marimba will be playing some oompa type chordal accompaniments. And then part 3, which is doing a little bit of everything back here. So we'll play this for you and then talk a little bit more about what we're doing here. So this is Log Cabin Blues featuring Jackson Hall. Jackson, on the xylophone, what did you find unique and challenging about playing the xylophone solo?
Well, the hardest part about, I think, all of this is just keeping the time as fast as possible. A lot of this deals in a lot of double stops, and that can be challenging to the beginning percussionist because whenever we want to do double stops, we sometimes like to flam them, and that's not something we like to do. We like to have a crisp sound, especially in this beginning part. Otherwise, you lose all of that effect.
And also, I think getting used to the jazz way of thinking about rhythm is a bit of a challenge as well. Did you find that difficult?
Swinging it, I had to listen to a bunch of recordings on this, and one of the recordings helped me realize that I was swinging a little too much, and just listening to other musicians and how they interpret it will help you get a nice overall sound for pieces. You can do that with any ensemble piece. You can do it with any solo literature. Listen to other people. Other musicians will give you that inspiration for your own playing.
Yeah, so also for reference, these rags, there are a number of these ragtime pieces that are available both with a marimba accompaniment, with a marimba quartet, and also with a piano accompaniment. So if you're a budding, aspiring xylophone player, mallet player, and you want to get into this, you could always buy the piano part, and it might be easier to find somebody to cover that rather than to try to have 4 marimbas. I'm not sure how many high schools around here have this many marimbas. We are very fortunate indeed. All right. Well, everybody please stand up. so they can see you. Wes back there on the drum set. Thank you, Wes. Jack, Kyla, Taylor, Sam.